Good morning, girls. Happy New Year. If you're new, welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. My name is Bernadine. We meet here every Wednesday to pursue God and pursue wisdom. Last year, we ended the year with Proverbs, and we ended with the Proverbs 31 woman. And Solomon is giving his son advice on an ideal woman that he would marry. But some scholars actually think that he was talking about Ruth. So we'll be reading Ruth in the month of January. Today is our first chapter, and it's already so good, right? And what we find is that the story of Ruth, it doesn't actually start with Ruth. It starts with another woman named Naomi. And this woman is married and has two sons, and they live in Bethlehem. But there is a famine going on in Bethlehem. So they decide to go to a foreign land called Moab because they hear that it's prospering there. So the whole family goes together, Naomi, her husband, and her two sons. While they're there in Moab, the husband dies. So now she's left with her two sons. The two sons end up marrying women from this foreign land, from Moab. One of them is called Orpah, not Oprah. One of them is called Orpah, and one of them is called Ruth. And they're married for 10 years, and it tells us that both sons die. It doesn't really tell us how, but now Naomi has lost her husband and both of her sons. So now she's left with these two daughters-in-law, and she's not sure what the future holds or what it's going to look like. But she hears that back in her hometown, the famine has passed. They are now prospering. So she decides, let's just go back to my hometown. On the way there, she's thinking, I have nothing to offer you girls. Why would you come back with me? Go back to your own families. You're still young enough to remarry and start again. And one of them, Orpah, decides, okay, yeah, I'm going to go back to my family. And Ruth just would not let her go. So we'll pick up in verse 16. It says, but Ruth replied, don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me. When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. This is so beautiful to me because I'm thinking, what kind of a relationship did they have? What kind of relationship did they build while Ruth was married to Naomi's son, where now she doesn't even want to go back to her own family. She wants to stay with Naomi. Not just temporarily, not just like, oh, let me make sure you get back to your hometown, okay, and then I'll go back to my family. No, she's saying, where you die, I will die. So this is like, she's permanently loyal to Naomi. And it just makes me think, what kind of love did she show her? What kind of relationship did they build? What did she see in Naomi that would make her so loyal to the point of death when her husband is gone and Naomi is old and she has nothing to offer her? And still she says, I'm going with you. That's just so beautiful to me. So the chapter ends with them going back into Naomi's hometown, and her old friends are greeting her and they're like, can this be? It's Naomi, she's back. And she says, don't call me Naomi, call me Mara. And in verse 20, she says, do not call me Naomi, she told them, call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. And this reminded me of what we talked about in Proverbs about being careful of the words that come out of our mouth, and what we say and what we speak over our own lives can also be harmful. She's taking on the identity of her disappointment. She's taken on the identity of her bitterness. So she's not just saying, I feel sad or I am struggling because I lost my husband and my two sons. She's saying, no, I'm going to change my name to bitter. She's taking on the identity of bitterness. And I think we do that sometimes, and we have to be very careful about the words that we speak over our own lives. But it ends with hope. The very last verse says, so Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning. There's a harvest that's beginning, and it just gives us a glimpse of hope. And next week we'll pick up and see where this story heads. But for now, I think it's a beautiful journey that they're on together. We're already seeing the character of Ruth. All right, girls, I'll see you next week. Bye.